Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Have you ever noticed how often people around you behave the same way? The same phrases, the same reactions, even walking the same routes for years. In gaming, these are called NPCs, characters without free will, running on programmed code. Today, we're going to run a diagnostic of reality. 93% of people, by behavior, are background characters. But which group are you in? I'll show you the signs that you've been programmed and how to take control back. We like to believe we are unique individuals with our own opinions, but social psychology says otherwise. Most of what we do is just copying the person next to us. If the system sees that all units are moving to the right, it simply doesn't assign you a path to the left. Remember the famous elevator experiment. Actors enter and stand facing away from the doors. A normal person walks in, gets confused, but within 20 seconds they physically cannot resist the pressure of the group and turn toward the wall too. Why does this happen? Because the brain reads deviation from the group as a life-threatening danger. In ancient times, being rejected by the tribe meant death. Today this shows up as cancel culture and chasing trends. If everyone says something is right, your brain shuts off logic and downloads the latest update of public opinion. For an NPC, standing out means a system error. Conformity is a deep-level program. It makes you feel shame if you dress differently, or anxiety if you don't share collective outrage online. Autopilot. An NPC is not afraid of being wrong, but of being alone. The system rewards sameness because identical groups are easier to control. One command can redirect millions, just by changing what's considered normal. There's an even harsher example, Solomon Ash's experiment. A group is shown two lines of different lengths and asked which is longer. All actors intentionally give the wrong answer. The result? In 75% of cases, the real participant agrees with the obvious lie, just to avoid conflict. Diagnosis. If you catch yourself thinking, "This feels wrong, but if everyone says it, maybe I just don't understand," congratulations. At that moment, your player status is deactivated. You've entered NPC mode, retransmitting someone else's error. Making decisions based on "this is what normal people do" is a clear sign that you're running чужое программное обеспечение, someone else's software. The system replaces your intuition with social approval. You buy things you don't need, choose careers you don't like, repeat ideas you don't believe in. Herd mentality is the base algorithm of the matrix. To exit NPC mode, you must learn to tolerate discomfort. Be the only person in the elevator facing the door. Have you ever caught yourself arriving somewhere and not remembering the journey? Like reality just skipped a frame. In game design, this is called path optimization. To reduce load, characters follow predefined routes. In real life, this is a sign your life has become a script. Your brain consumes massive energy. To save it, it turns repeated actions into automatic programs. You brush your teeth, make coffee, walk to the bus stop, without awareness. At that moment, you are a perfect NPC. Your body executes code while your mind is offline. Look at people in the subway. Blank stares, slouched posture, disconnected. They are not here. They are waiting for the next checkpoint. If tomorrow something blocks their usual route, they experience real discomfort. Because the system must rewrite code in real time. Home, work, store, screen. This is the base loop most people are trapped in. The problem is not the routine itself, but that there is no life between these points. Predictability. In a player's life, there is always randomness. In an NPC's life, randomness is a problem. If you know exactly what you'll be doing at 5 p.m. 2 weeks from now, you are deep in a loop. If the system removes one familiar element, the NPC freezes. They don't adapt. They wait for the bug to be fixed. Reality check. When was the last time you went off script? A real player explores the map, even without a quest. Think about your last week. Was there a single action not driven by habit or necessity? Did you take a different street? Just because the light looked beautiful? Enter a place you've never been? If your routes haven't changed for months, autopilot has taken over. You are no longer driving your life. You are a passenger watching the same loop. To regain control, you must introduce an error into the system. Take a different route. Buy something new. Get off earlier. Force your brain to wake up. The moment you step outside your usual loop, reality starts rendering around you again. You become visible. The key difference between an NPC and a player is how information is processed. An NPC does not create ideas. It retransmits them. You scroll your feed, hear an influencer, or a short phrase. Hours later, you repeat it as your own thought. Your system updated its cache. You didn't analyze it, you installed it, no filter. Why? Because for an NPC, anything said confidently, or repeated by many, becomes truth. No verification, no resistance. Perfect channel for propaganda. A player is different. A player filters everything. The first question, who benefits from this? A player doubts even obvious things. Searches sources, compares perspectives, finds contradictions. Their thoughts are created, not copied. To become a player is to admit, 90% of what you think is yours was installed. Awakening begins when you catch someone else's thought inside your head and decide to question it. You unconsciously scan your environment in search of confirmation that you are normal. This leads you to spend your time and resources on things you don't need, just to match an invisible code of success written by corporate marketing systems. You choose careers that drain your life, not because you want them, but because the program marked them as stable or prestigious in the current update of reality. The deepest level of foreign code penetration happens through your speech and beliefs. You catch yourself passionately defending ideas and repeating slogans that you never passed through your own experience. This happens automatically, because an NPC's main goal is to blend into the environment, to avoid conflict or judgment from other units. When you live on someone else's programming, your real self goes into deep sleep mode. And what remains on the surface is just a user interface, predictable, controllable, convenient. Your life becomes an endless chain of completing other people's quests, in exchange for approval that is ultimately worthless. To wake up means to realize the fear of being weird or misunderstood is just a limiter, a built-in restriction, a barrier designed to make sure you never press exit and never run your own algorithms. To become a player, you must stop looking for validation in the eyes of the crowd and start trusting that quiet inner voice the system constantly tries to drown out. Becoming a player does not mean leaving everything and escaping into the forest. The real challenge is to stay inside the system, but stop playing by its rules. Player mode activates the moment you start doing things that make no sense to the program. The system expects predictability. All control is built on it. The moment you break the pattern, you create a glitch, and reality starts to rearrange itself around you. The awakening protocol is simple. Start small. Introduce chaos into your automatisms. Take a different route, even if it takes longer. Talk to a stranger, not for a reason, but for a real human moment that is not written in your script. One of the most powerful tools is silence. Turn off your phone for 3 hours in the middle of the day and when the system expects maximum engagement. In that moment, you disappear from the algorithm, and your attention returns to you. The principle is simple. The moment you do something that is not in your default pattern, the simulation is forced to generate new scenarios for you. As long as you behave like an NPC, the world remains static and predictable. But the moment you act with intention, unexpected coincidences appear. The right people show up. Closed doors open. A player does not wait for the next quest from the system. A player creates events. You stop being a passive observer consuming other people's content and become the main character, deciding where your attention goes and what happens next. The Matrix is not afraid of rebels, because rebellion is also predictable. It's just another script. The system knows how to use it. What the system truly fears are the aware ones, those who don't try to break the wall, but understand that the wall doesn't exist. A player sees the conditional nature of rules, sees the strings that move the crowd, and simply chooses not to participate. The moment you realize that reality is flexible, not solid, the rules begin to change under your influence. The outcome of your life in this simulation depends on one thing. Whose goals are you executing? You can remain a background character until the very end, a part of someone else's story. Following scripts, working a job you hate, repeating other people's narratives, chasing imposed ideals. For the system, you are just data, a resource, disposable. But there is another path. Right now, in this exact moment, you can take back control, grab the controller from your autopilot. This is not a one-time action. It is a constant choice. To question, to doubt, to choose silence over noise, awareness over trance. The moment you stop being predictable, you become a player, and the simulation transforms from a prison into your personal playground. Remember, the system is powerful only as long as you believe in it. The moment you wake up, you realize that control was always yours. Who are you in this game? The choice is yours. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.